This is an amazing sight. 6 days of rain. 6 days without the sun. My batteries are topping off. I was hitting bottom. Now, my solar power bank got me through 6 days with no sun. So my solar panels are sufficient to get me through on a week of cloudy days. So that's good news. That's really good to know I made it in warm weather. So the batteries were suffering miserably in the cold. So I know that these golf cart batteries are no good in the cold. Now my batteries are topping off. Well, there are occasional clouds passing over, but my batteries are topping off happily now. The garden is wet, so it's on hold. It's disgusting. I have to get a lawnmower out here. Now I get to find out what this is like with wind blowing on the microphone. I don't know where the microphone is. So the garden has to wait until I can get a lawnmower out here. Maybe Monday I'll do that. It's really overgrown again. Really wild and green. And then I'll put the paper down once I cut the grass. Because there's no point in putting paper over tall grass. It'll just push the paper up. So right now, priority. Working on this thing today. I'm going to finish emptying out the garbage, which there is a lot. And I have a few more fixtures to pull out of there yet. And a couple heavy items like my wood stove, the pot-bellied wood stove, which is going in that tent on a pallet. I have to pull out some pallets and get them out in the sun to dry because it's been raining forever. And once they're dry, I'll put the pallets in there and finish unloading the old camper. So that's what I'll be doing today. I'll tell you what, New York is harsh for organic gardeners. Respect for those who do it. Look here, I just pulled a couple off and then I realized I need to grab my camera and record this. There are Daddy Longlegs spiders, see right here, on my plant, and here's another one. Wait a minute, let me get him on the camera there. Where is he? Oh, he ran away. So I wanted to show him on there. This leaf here has been destroyed. Where am I? Right here. There was a Daddy Longlegs sitting right here eating this leaf. This is what they do. They destroy the leaves. I never knew that spiders, the Daddy Longlegs spiders, would eat the plants like this. These guys are killing my plants. Look here. This was done by a spider, a Daddy Longlegs. I picked him off the other day. Here's another one. Picked off a Daddy Longlegs eating that leaf. I never knew. I had no idea. Here's another one destroyed by Daddy Longlegs I picked off. Here's another one. I just picked off 3 of them off this plant today. Look at this leaf destroyed by a spider. I didn't know they would eat that. Here's another worm. That's another common thing. Every day, picking the worms off my plants. Every day. Now people say, yeah, give them to the chickens. Good idea, generally. Oh, there's another one. Give the worms to the chickens. Well, generally that's a good idea. See, these I think are the destructive ones that kill trees. I don't even want to touch that big one. Bah! Gross things. Give me goosebumps. I don't like bugs. I know, call me weak. I live in the forest and I don't like bugs. But anyway, the worms out here are terrible, and my plants are rotting, probably because, or my squash is rotting, but probably because it rained so much out here. I break off the rotting ones and throw them away so it doesn't cause any more damage. But wow, I can't believe everything wants to eat your plants. All my squash is rotting, every one of them. I'm gonna have to rip them all off and start over again. Every single one is rotting. We had 6 days of straight rain with no break. And I have to clear all that off or it'll rot. Now I thought I'd leave this in the pot and it might be better off. We'll see if I'm right, because you get those vine borers that eat from the bottom of the plant and cut it off. And so I'm not going to risk that this year. All these dead leaves, dead fruits, there's a rotting fruit. They all rotted. All my squash rotted. I got to start over again. That one in there is rotting. That was a big one too, and it's rotted. No good. So, break off the bad stuff and let it start over again, I guess. It's the best thing I can do, because you don't want that rot hurting the rest of the plant. But yeah, Daddy Longlegs killing my plants. How crazy is that? I had no idea. Never heard of such a thing my whole life. But they are. I've seen them doing it. Oh, there's one right there. They're all over these plants, all over here. No idea. Well, learning all kinds of stuff about organic gardening in New York, especially in the forest. I'm going to take this out in the sun and dispatch that big ugly worm. He's playing dead on me here. But they're sort of pretty colors. But I started to say, people have suggested I give these to my chickens, which is good, but chickens are sort of stupid and sometimes they don't get them, and then they can escape and get back into my plants. So I've been just squishing them as I find them, get rid of them right away, and not risk having them repopulate the area. The coloring on that and the patterns are amazing. I've never really looked at them like that before. I don't know how close this camera gets on there. If you look at the coloring, forget that it's an ugly, yucky bug. It's actually quite amazing patterns on that thing. Well, anyway, it's going to be an amazing dead bug in a minute. Goodbye. Now, I'm going to explain why I didn't finish this in the first place. I've had these couple containers worth of stuff inside here. Now, that's all stuff that goes over to the workshop. I had a bunch of garbage, ruined foods from last winter, sadly. Now, I know some people are upset with me for losing my food, but what are you going to do? You live in the forest, you leave, where are you going to put your food? I don't have anybody nearby that had any space, so I'm throwing away a lot of lost stuff. A lot of stuff survived. Canned food surprisingly can handle being frozen. Now what I've got here, I'm pulling my garden tools out of here, stacking them up in the trailer, and I'm going to run over to the garden tent where they belong. So I'm going to start organizing better so that I can get the stuff out of here in to there and finish this job. I should have this completely done today, emptied out anyway, completely. And once I get the pallets in there, which are over here in the sun, drying out. Since it's been raining, I got these out drying out before I put them inside to put my stuff on them. Shouldn't take too long. And then they'll go in the tent over here so that the rest of my stuff, my household items, which there's not much left, as I said, but there's a few boxes of books still. I had a lot of books. I'm going to reduce that once I open them up. When I unpack, I'm going to go through and reduce my possessions, but I just packed them fast to get them out of there. And the wood stove, the old potbelly stove, is in here. A couple other odds and ends of boxes. I was thinking about keeping these doors, all the original doors to all the cabinets in here, but I think not. And just gonna probably end up burning them. I know it's a sad waste, but I can't keep everything. It's just too much stuff, and those are laminated. I don't like laminated. I think I said that the other day. So everything out of here is gonna get emptied, and everything original, all the original wood from this, what I don't use for the chicken tractor, will get burnt. So finally the potbelly stove is going to go in there today, and I'm going to finish this up, hopefully have it empty and start demolishing. Heavy, it's full of water. Oh. I don't know if I can do this alone. leg's bent. That's bad. Oh, good. Oh, that is heavy. One fell off. This is awkward. Oh, that's heavy. Oh, wow. That wasn't fun. Oh, that thing's heavy. Well, one of the worst parts of the job is out of the way. Time for lunch. Actually, I'm going to show you in here. Now, take in mind, this is everything I own and everything Chris owns. The guy who had lived here before left all his belongings behind, so please take note, or take that into consideration. All my clothing, all my bedding, all my books, and some odds and ends, computer printer, my old computer monitor, 22-incher, which I may or may not sell, I'm not sure yet. But everything I own is in here, including my, well, there's the one that Ellen Brown gave me, which I can't wait to try that out this fall. The weather turned warm suddenly after I got that, but it's all there. Once I'm done running around unpacking and unloading, I get some time, I'm going to test this out. There's the old potbelly sitting on a pallet out here now, protected. And the old parlor stove, which I'm not sure. See, I saw some discussion. Oh, my friend's got paper in there. He was using it. There were fire bricks in there, and they were rounded pattern. And they don't make round ones anymore. Some people have suggested using cement, but I was thinking about just using the cheap fire bricks, which are $2 a piece, and just cutting them at angles so they fit around in there. And then I might just sell it. But I'll keep this until I decide what's going in the tiny home once and for all. The final wood stove that I'll use for the tiny home. So now I've got my pallet. But as you can see, I've got the diatomaceous earth in here. I've got a massive bag of cat litter in here. I stored all the wooden doors from the camper in here, but I think they're going to get burnt. I might give them a chance on Craigslist, put them up on Craigslist, see if anybody wants them, pile them all up, photograph them, put them on, give them a week's time. If not, to the burn pile. I got more piled up over here. I've got some more in the camper still, and it's going to keep piling it up once I start gutting out that camper. So I can't keep everything. I just got to start getting rid of it. But yeah, oh, all my kitchen is in here, by the way, because I never did move into that RV last year fully. All my kitchen appliances are in there. Cookware, dishes, dinnerware, silverware. I'm using paper plates in the RV. Everything's in there. So I mean, if you think, how much do you own? I bet a lot of people have a lot more than that. So, but then again, a lot of those boxes are books, and they're going to be reduced. 8 boxes of books, no more. Not for me. I'm going through that stuff, getting rid of them. Comics, whole box of comics. I used to collect them. No more. Going on Craigslist. Get rid of them. Everything's going away. Reduce this stuff. Anyway, there's my old homemade solar panels. Some of you guys might remember my solar panels from 2.5 years ago when I started out here in this property off the grid. I was living off homemade solar panels, But when I was over at the apartment for a short period, I stupidly left these stacked on a pallet outside in winter, and it wrecked my wooden framing. So I kept them in here after Tim got me those big solar panels. They're his, by the way, they're not mine, and he's coming back soon to get them. I was talking about my solar panels when my memory card filled up, my camera stopped recording. These old guys were my first solar panels, and Tim is coming to get the ones that he purchased. I was borrowing them, so to say, and he'll be coming this year to get these, the good ones. So I either have to find some or get these repaired. But I had them up here so they dry out and keep them from deteriorating the solar cells. So that's why they're up here on the rack up in the top of my storage tent. And they are bone dry. That's a good thing. Well, I'm going to have to figure a way to restore them. That's not going to be any fun. I should not have left them out in winter. That was so... oh, that was bad. I was in the middle of moving out there, and my landlord told me to throw them on a pallet and they'll be fine, and they weren't. But anyway, I'll have to fix them. So... let me get back to work, fill this tent up, and empty out that camper. I just lost all DC power in the RV. That means all lights. I have AC power. That's all I have. I have my cigarette lighter adapter that I plugged in. Still works, that I put in. But the main DC line for the whole RV, all lighting, stereo system, everything, is dead. I don't understand. I've got no power in here now. And the crazy thing, let me take you to the circuit breaker. Here's the DC fuse block. Everything's good. Not a single fuse blown. Everything's good. So I got out my voltmeter and I measured plus and minus. No power. So I think a chipmunk just severed the line underneath the RV somewhere, which is really frustrating. Oh. Tracing a bad wire somewhere under an RV that's been covered up. Under all the skirting is covered. I'm gonna have to figure out where that wire's been cut. It's got to have been a chipmunk. There's chipmunks living under the RV and up in the engine. And all of a sudden the light went out. No fuses blown. No power coming up front at all. So somewhere between the batteries and here it's cut. That's frustrating. No more lights. No more lights in the off-grid RV. I have power again. It was somehow, I have no idea how this can happen, but the main positive wire under the battery box in the front of the RV, under the hood, had come totally loose. I don't know how that can happen. That is so weird. But I fixed it. I've got light again. Well, once it cools down outside in the evenings, this is a relaxing way to spend my time. The bugs are also a little less persistent. I simply pull out a weed and give it a shake. I know I'm trying to fail as I'm going to show you. Shake the roots out so I don't lose too much dirt. Today's task was working in the old camper. I didn't show you a lot of video because it was tight quarters and I don't have any light in there, and I don't want to bore you with just me putting a bunch of junk in boxes. Sure, everybody's been through a move. Surprisingly, I had a lot more stuff in there than I thought. I'm embarrassed to admit that I had a whole mess of junk in there that I wasn't aware of. Down underneath the kitchen sink is a nightmarish mess that I left for later, today being later, and I picked at it quite a bit. But what happened is the mice, when I was gone to Australia, went wild down under there, under the kitchen sink where I had all my food stored. And I think I mentioned earlier how, you know, I live in the forest. I've got nowhere to put my stuff. So I left it the best way I could. Put mouse bait up, put what do you call it, mothballs all over the place. Did the best I could, but the mice got in there, and mouse urine is really aggressive on food cans. So I have a mess. It's a disgusting mess. And hauling all that bad stuff out of there was quite a job on my back. So I was pretty exhausted afterwards. These look like carrots, but I didn't have carrots last year. It smells like carrot. I wonder if that's wild carrot. It's got to be wild carrot growing in here. Almost tempted to keep them, but can't keep everything. So anyway, this is how I spend my evenings, just when I'm too tired or sore to do the main hard work. I come out here and I pick at the garden, pick at the weeds for a while. If you do this every day, a little bit now and then, you'll eventually get on top of it. So this whole area looked like this. I don't know how well this shows up right now, but wow, that rain brought the weeds out big time. Really brought the weeds out. So now I get to pull them out. And there's a lot of weeding to do in this row. This row is the worst. I figured I'd start in the worst of the worst, right in this end where the weeds are insane, and work my way out to where it's not so bad. Look at this. I can just pick up handfuls of weeds. But I sort of waited to let them grow so I could do this. See, now I can just pick them up. When they're super tiny, they're almost impossible to pull out like this. And you throw this in a pile and you compost this stuff, and you've got some good fertilizer for your garden later. So, good compost. Well, I'll shut off the camera and just keep picking at this for a while. I almost forgot to show you this. I almost forgot about them totally. I got some ladybugs, although now that I'm looking for them, I don't see the aphids that were on here. Isn't that weird? Oh yeah, they're in there. Got some ladybugs off Amazon. Package of live insects. Hope they're alive. Supposed to release them in the evening, I guess, so they'll stay there. Otherwise, if you release them in the day, they'll probably just take right off and go somewhere else. Yep, they're alive. Live ladybugs. Gonna be poured out. Oh no, they closed it and sealed it. Yes, now I'm gonna have to find a way to open this. Hope it opens. Nope. Alright, little guys, get out of the way. Not gonna be that easy. Alright, I gotta go get a knife or scissors or something. Well, they know something's up. They're all grouping up at the top. Freedom. eat and be merry. Look at all the... Sorry, something went in my throat again. Happens a lot out here. Look at all the bugs. Looking for food. They're gonna find food. There's bugs all over these plants. Well, oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this. Let me see. How good is this camera here? Oops. Where am I here? It's awkward when I'm zoomed. Here we are. Focus. There's an aphid. I can barely see. It's so tiny. Well, it's hard to see it because it blends right in with the plant. There's an aphid right there. I can't barely zoom this in and see it properly. Can I? Oh well, I have to learn how this works. There we go. Anyway, you can't see them. But there's aphids all over this. And the ladybugs are crawling. Well, hopefully they'll be happy here. Their new home. And munch away at all their happy food. Look at them all over. They like this plant. Look at them all over that plant. They like that. They really like that plant. I wonder what they're getting. They're checking it out. So ladybugs are a beneficial insect. And you can release ladybugs into your garden. You're supposed to release them at night. When, oops, I have to move so they don't get on me. You're supposed to release them at night so that they'll stick around. And when they're at rest, or when they're just before they go to rest, and hopefully they'll be here tomorrow and they'll feast on my aphids. There's one. Can you see it? Yeah, there it is. Let me see. Right there is an aphid. And there's a ladybug going after it. Oops, he missed it. Oh, he walked right past it and didn't see it. Oh well, they'll get him. They'll get him. I got ladybugs all over me. Just had one walking on my hand. So the ladybugs will eat any soft-bodied insects, like aphids, and they will not harm your plants. So they are a beneficial, very good insect, and they are definitely spreading out. They love that plant. Wow, they are loving that one, and they're already looking for food. They're chasing little flies and bugs and stuff all over. So I don't know if they'll attack cutworms or not. Everybody seems to think I probably have cutworm infestation here, but I don't know. But I do know they eat aphids because I've had ladybugs before and watched them eat the aphids, and they tear them right up. So by tomorrow, I won't have any more aphid problems. Well, I'm going to shut off the camera and just watch these for a few minutes. I don't want to bore you with it, but I just think it was pretty cool. All kinds of life here. All kinds of them. I don't know if it was, I think it was 1,500 of them. Straight off Amazon. Delivered live. If I see one eating a bug, I'll haul out the camera and zoom in on it. In the meantime, I'm just gonna enjoy watching my little critters. Hope they stay. Well, it didn't take long. Remember that aphid I said was right there on that branch? On that plant? He is finished. Well, I wish I could focus this in better. I don't know if there's a manual focus on this. He's being eaten. I don't know if you can see that very well. Ladybug's tearing him up. Ladybug says, I want that one. Now they're going to fight over it. And you can't see the aphid at all now. Well, they're doing their job. Good stuff. Yeah, they're sharing that one.